Yeah.
Major General Suresh, I have this question for you. We have spoken about how the family, the community helps you uh, take your step forward for the future, right? I want to know, um, how about starting a family for special need adults, not children but adults, right? Is it there in cards, and what do you do, or how do we do that?
Like what Mr. Ram just said, that five, six families get together and have a kind of a residential place, and by turns, you each parent goes and spends about a couple of months in that place and looks after all the children over there who are there and comes back. This is another way of doing it, so that you're going and coming. So in a way, the child is getting used to your absence also. But then you are there at a call away. So because some other parent would come in rotation for 2 months, say out of 12, say 12 months in a year, there are 6 adults over there and 6 sets of adults, parents also. So each set of parents comes there for 2 months to run the place, to look after all the 6 children, including their own child also. Run the place and come back, and then another set of parents go there, run the place. So that way, there's a kind of people who are exposed to this kind of requirements of these children are available over there on the spot. Of course, besides this, you'll have an administrator and you'll have a doctor or whatever it is. That's all there. But this one set of parents who go there is just to monitor that the place is running properly, and they left with just at the mercy of an administrator or or a caretaker over there as such. And these children also will get used to the absence of the parent also.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to know, we're talking about the mostly in our conversation today. We have been talking about the male special men who have been in the special category, right? So
Yeah.
do they get married? Is there a marital future for them? How do they approach things like that?
See, many of them do talk about marriage without knowing the implications and the seriousness and things like that about marriage, right? But we have to be very, very careful because, first of all, today everybody is, I don't want to say it, but then it becomes a little bit like something like a selfish kind of a world, And yeah, because you see, a marriage requires 2 people.
Yes.
The other person, you will not come across, in fact, rarely would you come across a person who would be willing to sacrifice his or her life completely for an individual who requires help for so many matters and who's not normal as such. I have seen one odd rare instances over here in Bangalore where a person knowingly has married a person who was very good in software, and he has picked up so many other baggages like anxiety, depression, which I told you. He's left his job also, and the families have not accepted. And then that lady is taking care of her job. She's taking care of her husband. It becomes more than a handful. But then, yes, I must say that the lady has really sacrificed her life. And you may not come across very many people like that. You would not come across. And secondly, I would also not say that somebody should sacrifice their life for this way. They also deserve something. Why should they? I mean, they can be a buddy. They can come and spend, say, a few hours, to take them for a movie, take them for a meal or something like that, and come back, and then they carry on with their own life. Why should they sacrifice their complete life? 24 hours is also a thought which comes into your mind, because then you start feeling guilty also as parents. You start you're not comfortable. I mean, with the whole marriage as such to burden somebody. I mean, you're passing on your burden to somebody else, which I feel is not at all right.
In fact, even regular people go through so many changes. And let me not even talk about what this 1 year of lockdown has cost in different families, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is just waiting to go somewhere or the other, leave everything and just go. So I'm sure, on a very serious note, I'm sure this might be a very difficult part to discuss. Yes, Mr. Ram.
Yeah, I mean, with respect to the concept of marriage itself, I mean, I think I need to make a point over here. In India, it is more of a duty, a kind of a necessity. I mean, we don't look at it as like the partners being companions to each other.
Right.
And it's more like there are some duties. A wife has to be this, a husband has to be this, and this is the thing. And then we have to the wife has to look after the kitchen, and then the husband has to
Like
go out and
checklist.
everything. Yes. So those are all the stereotypical things. So until it'll take a very long time for things to change. In the West, things are different, where they are dating. People with special needs are dating. They are trying to find partners for themselves, and they are able to even say that straight off that, okay, XYZ suits me and I would like to live with this person, and so doesn't suit me and it doesn't live. So they are, in fact, there have been, the models are available outside. But that is like, if we are I'm talking primarily of the US, I mean, where things are in a totally different it's a different scenario altogether. I mean, where marriage is not as put given that kind of a sanctity, if I may use that word, okay, as opposed to what how we put it in India. I mean, so it's a kind of a different, it's a different world over there. But yes, if you ask me, from a companionship perspective, would I want my child to have a relationship, my son to have a relationship with a girl? Yes, I would go for it. Yeah. But then it has to be very clear, the boundaries have to be this thing. I mean, the expectations are also to be very clearly laid out over there between the two partners. And yes, this is what I think of marriage. This is my personal view.
In fact,
But
that has been one of the most progressive statements I've heard, and I'm really glad that you put it this way.
okay, thanks. But unfortunately, yeah, they did try. I mean, there are a couple of the last time I attended one seminar called as the India Inclusive Summit. There are a couple of sites which they have opened up, being managed. There is also something called as an inclusion matrimony. There's a Facebook page. This is also available. They're trying to bring two people together and see where they fit. But I would think that it is more. I don't think my son would fit into that level, because his basic communication itself, it takes a while for him to understand and things like that. I mean, that's probably for we are still taking baby steps in India
Okay.
on that aspect. Yeah,
Okay.
I would leave it at that.
Okay. So I think we've had a very interesting session. I really hope. I'm going to come for a last round of words, right? I want to know what has been the most emotional and one most practical decision in your life with reference to the special child in your life, right? I'm going to start with Mr. Sundarajan.
Yeah, most practical decision which I have made for my child is to retain him in my house only.
Okay.
The reason being, we were sending him to school when he was 2.5 years,
Okay.
and up to 20 years we sent him to school. But after 20 years, since he is being an adolescent age, there are no school facilities available in Bangalore. But at the same time, he had a lot of habits, such as his sleeping was not a normal cycle. So even whole day, whole night, if he doesn't sleep, also I had to forcibly send him to school. So he goes to school and he's not able to perform. The teachers don't understand that he has not slept the whole day, whole night. They try to force him to do some task. He will not understand. All those issues are going on. Then one fine day, I told him whatever happens, but his progress also was not very commendable after sending him and spending so much money at school. So I took a practical decision of retaining in my house only, and then we learned teaching him how to manage him within the house. This is the most practical, and though I was feeling guilty that I am not doing anything for him, but he is comfortable at home, and we are taking care of him his needs within the house only. This is the
From
only
our
practical
point
thing
of
I
view,
can.
I don't think you should feel even an iota of guilty for whatever best you are doing. Um, what has been the most emotional decision, Mr. Sundarajan?
No, I never felt any emotional decision. If I am to take him out and put him in a daycare center or permanent rehabilitation center, that would be very emotional for him, because I cannot imagine myself parting away from him.
Okay.
So that has never happened, and I pray to God it never happens in my life. So I only see fathers like me. Some of the people may not like what I'm about to say now. Fathers like me pray to God that let the child be taken away before us, so that we can see him go, and then we can be at peace, and then we leave the world. That's how I look at it.
Major General Suresh, how about you? One practical and one most emotional decision.
Seeing trying to make him lead a very normal life is a big emotional decision, because invariably when he goes out and he meets people, there is some kind of a disturbance, and he'll come back in a bit of a disturbed state, which can carry on for a couple of days. Now, but then some of the best of people, they say that exposure is the best way to, to cross over the hurdle. So we do keep exposing him to in very many different situations and alone. He has been able to hire his own cab. He has been able to order his own food, etc. But then when he travels in an auto driver, and then we are always apprehensive that he comes back. He doesn't get into a kind of a physical fight with the auto driver, because the auto driver does not understand what he's exactly trying to say and what he is and why is he saying it. So most of the time we tell him, leave the change. Doesn't matter if he's not giving you the change, leave it. We'll be on a call with him. But he'll be insisting upon that he should return the change and the correct change. And it may be 26 rupees. So he'll say, you have to give me 26 rupees. That fellow will insist on 4 rupees in the purse. So, and in different denominations, so that it is easy to handle such kind of situations. This is one. So the practical one, actually, also I covered in that we keep the exact amount of money, and it is always the same when he is going to the market. It will be exactly the same 300 rupee notes and 150 rupee note, and 120 and 310 rupee and 10 rupees in coin. So he knows exactly there is 410 rupees, and how to handle that 410 rupees. He knows how to do it. So in a way, that's a practical side also of that. But yes, there are putting his name in the sale deed itself, so that he's an owner. So he feels happy that he is also an owner of this apartment. The other apartment owners cannot push him around, because he's not a dependent, he's an owner. So that's a very big thing. I mean, no apartment owner can do anything. I mean, he's a justified owner. He's a registered owner. So then, of course, the bank documents. He is a joint holder in all our accounts as such. The accounts go on to him as such. So financially, and but sometimes I feel that some things which we have given them, such children, some extra things. Which they may not be able to come across, after when you're not there. So that way we may be, spoiling them as such to some extent. I mean, we are not always tough with them. An auto driver would be tough with them, so he doesn't know as to when a person talks rough with him, as to how he is supposed to handle the situation. So some of those practical issues, situations also. We should be able to expose him at home, so that he is able to handle them when he is outside on his own.
I mean,
That's
really
it.
great points. I think as a society, we should also think about how we can help them. Thank you so much for those. Mr. Ram, one practical and one most emotional decision.
Most emotional decision. Well, both together, combined together. So it was a decision at the age of 40 when I joined Wipro. I said that 5 years down the road, Nishant is going to be in this thing, and I am going to, and this will be the last. I'm going to consolidate everything, and we are going to close with my thing, because I was in the IT industry, working very long hours, very late hours, and not able to focus on the family. So, and plus he was also going to be touching the teenage years, and it was certainly not, Akila herself could not have managed him on her own. and he was also growing physically. So we needed physical presence needed to be there. So that was that was one decision. I don't know whether to put it as a practical or a emotional. Well, both together. I said that okay, I will take early retirement at the age of 45 and move out from there, and then downgrade. So we certainly moved out and relocated ourselves from Bangalore to Coimbatore for a two-tier city, only because, yeah, we felt that we will be able to financially afford, okay, because Bangalore was certainly not going to be the place unless I worked in the industry and things like that. So that was, we moved back down in timings for my work. That was another area which I put forward. I would, whenever I would go look for assignments, etc., I would certainly ask for flexibility in time. And sometimes, I mean, I would need that particular space for myself. I mean, because of the. And the third is that, yeah, I wanted to be with the family from the time from the time Nishant turned 14, 15, and through, I said that, okay, I need to be with him in this growing years for the family. And then we were going to go face challenging, and both we will work on it together. And that was probably a very, uh, I mean, irrespective of how we are going to get the money. Uh, so we didn't plan for money, where it was going to come from, what was going to happen, but it did happen. But I think where it paid off is that being nonverbal and a very finding it very difficult to go through certain physical issues, Nishant sailed did come through quite a bit, and we were able to also manage, and our relationship together as a family, I think, worked has sort of got restored. I mean, I was more like a visiting member, but from there on, I think I became so. I think the last 10 years or so, I mean, where we from 2009, where things have changed, a lot of very strong decisions were taken place, and we did plan things out very differently. So these were both were together. I mean, I would say practically yes, it was a decision, and we had to we had to take that call.
It's never easy to take decisions
Yeah.
like this, right? Even for a normal scenario
Yeah.
like ours, we are never in a position to take this or that. But hats off to parents like you. And I really hope a lot of parents like you take you from you and try and be a little more sportive, little more positive in life and do their best possible. And ASI being what it is, I think it is doing amazing job trying to bring a lot of infrastructure and future proofing the lives of special needs. And obviously, Mr. Ram, you with Koi Care, right, has been
Yeah.
doing a lot of work in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and ASI has been doing a lot of groundwork in Bangalore. Thank you so much for being a part of this panel, and I really hope this actually gives a new life to a new family and they are also able to come forward. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.